Board games, board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, board games, I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this morning with a little bit of singing. And hello, this is me. I'm going to unbox the game known as Yogi. But hey, let's not do this one. Maybe it would be more fun to unbox the Yogi that's in French. Because maybe it'll throw a wrench into proceedings for the sake of it. And that is the way it could be a hit. Hello, morning, good day, Dave. I can't think of something that rhymes with Dave. I hope you're also having a great weekend. I am having a good one. Thank you for asking, my friend. Board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, I'm not gonna shout. Hey, good morning. I am Bez, and this is approximately brunch time, breakfast time. I don't know what time it is anymore, which means that it is the busy brunchy board game bladder because I'm going to be blathering about a board game. In particular, I'm going to be unboxing Yogi, the French edition, because on Friday I unboxed this game and oh my gosh, that was such a trip down memory lane. Yeah, and then yesterday I unboxed the expansions. And where could I go from that? So, I mean, I could go for the Innerbind Junior, but no, let's give a shout out to the way that it has evolved. And good morning, Elaine, and Alan Outson, and Andrew January. It is lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to... Je suis excité aussi. Merci beaucoup. Je ne parle pas beaucoup de français, mais ce jeu est français. I don't speak very much French, but this game is in French. In fact, lots of the French that I speak, of the very small amount, is thanks to Jigamic. True story, because they invited me to Cannes, and yeah, just going there and meeting my wonderful friends, Ellie and Jonas, staying at their house. And so this was the first edition of Yogi ever released. I think, I should have brought my... next year, I'm going to be very kind to myself this year. I would have, next year, we'll celebrate the 5-year anniversary of Innerbind Junior, and then I can bring all the original art and I'll show you the Yogi prototype, which had a totally different back, but I don't really know where it is because my room's a bit too much of a mess. Non, je n'ai pas faire le unboxing tout en français. Je vais faire le unboxing en anglais. So this is basically the same as this, and I have a little... If you go to Yogi, there's definitely a thing which I wrote some years ago about the differences. The main differences are that one of the cards was removed, because right hand to the right of right elbow is just a little bit too complicated to understand. So yeah, I don't know why I pulled it back. I should get better at remembering that. There we go. Right hand, right of elbow. And really, yeah, I should have said right hand, right of right elbow, because technically right hand is right of my left elbow. But what I really mean is that you've got to do it like that. So, you can bring your hand to your face as long as you bring in your elbow. And, good night, Prey. It's lovely to see you. And if you drop back, I just realized that it's going to be in 4 hours, the main event. so you might miss it. But I hope that you have a wonderful sleep. And yeah, you can watch the main event back. So just for those who don't know, the main event is at 2 p.m. UK time, which is the Inner Bond, which today I think we're going to do with this. Previously, we've done with this. Anyway, and also, by the way, for Inner Bond, if you can think of a puntastic way to say Inner Bond but incorporating the name Yogi, I will give some sorts of prize or something. But so let's look at this box. Le jeu tordant de pose tordue. I mean, I think it's something like the twisted game of twisted poses, but my French isn't good enough to understand why this might be puntastic or funny. It's got some artwork. I like this artwork. I personally did prefer the original that Simon Crusoe did with like an Indian. It's if we go to my, oh no, I deleted that picture, didn't I, from my thing. Basically, the old style was of just a brown-skinned person, kind of a more doing a seated pose. They look more like a guru, and I like the fact that it was a person of color. It was kind of a slightly older person. This one is kind of more of a, could be European, and I mean, I like this drawing. I like how it's twisted, and I like how the box, there's a lot of, there's a bit of texture to it, but there's not so much texture that you can't stack boxes on top of each other. I mean, let's guess how many boxes I can stack. Do you want to make a guess? Let's play an impromptu game of how many boxes can Ben stack on top of each other. And I'm now realizing. So this box beside me has a lot of international copies of Yogi, because I was going to do something with Russell that I never actually did. Sorry about my lack of preparedness. So we've got English, we've got Yogi Guru, and we've got Il Gioccio Spassasso delle Pozzo Fulli. This is Italian. Hem Vicudnu Hem Aklini. I don't even know what language this is. Hem Aklini Kalistir. I think .tr. I don't know where .tr is. I guess I could remember, but this is, it's so crazy, like how it's so many languages. El divertido juego de la pos torcidas, Spanish. And let me bring out the camera a little bit so I can go higher. I cannot read Hangul. This is Korean. This one, this one's definitely Thai. Oh no, this one's another Thai one. There we go. Oh, that's the him. Let me go for all the languages. Los nicht verknoten. That's his German. Oh, there's the Yogi Guru, the French one. Encore plus tordant. There's going to. This, I don't know what this is. Sats de flexible, si creative potifi. Happy color. I think that's .ro. Maybe this is Romanian. You can see there's a little bit of a tilt to it. I'm fairly sure I could even Kira. Oh, they've told me this is the Baltic version, and this is by Brain Games. And then this is the Hungarian version. Although the Hungarian version is different because, sorry, I'm going to, so I think this, and this is Japanese, so something, Janai no yo Yogi wa. That's all the different versions that there are. And let's just put two versions because they're right next to it. So you see, my point is that there's a bit of texture to the tin, but it's not so much that you can't stack a bunch on top of each other. And also that was a way of me sort of celebrating all the different languages. And there's more languages. Apparently it's gone into, I want to say Polish, Swedish. There's definitely a Swedish version, and yeah, they just kind of make new versions, and then it's brilliant. Oh yeah, so someone asked about Baltic. So this is a special version. I'm not going to open this because I've literally only got 2 copies of this. One I opened, one I kept sealed, and I can't find my open version right now. Actually, it might be over here. No. Basically, the thing about the Baltic version is there are actually 3 languages on the cards. So if you look at the cards, there are 3 lines of text on each one. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. And there's actually really small writing. So it's 2, Lucy, 2, Nas, 2, you know, there's all 3 languages. So it is actually trilingual. There you go. So, oh my gosh, I'm getting a bit. Let me try and do up my hair just because it is a hot day. For those who aren't aware, in London, it is fairly sweltering. Now, there's. Come on. Yeah. Get in there. Boom. That's so satisfying. That's, yeah, rip. So, le jeu tendron de pause tordu. It's got my name, which I appreciate. It's got Gigamic on the front. It's got Simon Caruso. It says Caruso 17 because Simon Caruso drew it in 2017. It's got a wee thing to a video, which hopefully it won't automatically activate. It's apparently for 3 to 10 players. I think I've talked about how, in retrospect, maybe it should be up to 8. I don't know. 8 plus, yeah, I'd agree with that. 7 cartes touchent les 2 matins. Les 2 mains, c'est touchant. So these are some examples of cards that you get inside. Pour tout type de joueur, Yogi est un jeu d'ambiance désopilant, parfait pour briser la glace. I think it says for all types of players, Yogi is a game. I don't know what désopilant means, but perfect for something. Yeah, my French isn't good enough. So next one, if you can say un jeu d'ambiance désopilant, parfait pour briser de glace. Briser la glace. Pioche une carte. So this is where we get into the instructions, and I've learned all these words because my French is now good enough to say pioche une carte, which means to draw a card. Lis l'instruction. Read the instruction. Et mettez-vous en position sans arrêter de suivre le précédent, which means do what it says, but don't stop doing the previous things. Toi, dès qu'un joueur ne parvient plus à respecter toutes ses cartes, il est éliminé. When someone can't do every single card, they are eliminated. And French is a really gendered language because it's difficult to have any word for day in French. There's no il n'en resterait qu'un, so there can only be one. Contourneau, 54 cartes tout terrain, all-terrain cards, 2 ports cards, 2 card holders, règles de jeu, autre Behrus Bel Shahriori, illustration, Simon Caruso, Gigamic, and something about March 2017, and there's some number, and I'm not sure what these numbers mean. But this is what you get into the tin, and so you can clearly see the little bits of embossing that's going on. And you've got the card holder, and Simon Caruso told me a little tip that if I were to ever want to sign it, I used to sign it on the plastic thing, but instead it does kind of crease it a little bit, but take out that, and then I can draw a thing here, and then you put it back in, and that's a far better way of signing the game than doing it here or on the plastic. So these are the instructions. Now, I've read every other set of instructions, so it seems almost fitting that I should read these. Contenu. Now, it occurs to me that I've not even done the normal regular bits. I've been so excited to get stuck into it that I've never asked people. I've not done the regular bits. So yeah, I'm going to put that banner up. So today, basically the whole thing is that 5 years ago I got this into shops. And let's talk about brilliant things, brilliant things. Here's a little thing which is brilliant. So today's brilliant things, I'm going to talk about memories. I just want to say it's not just about memories, but just the fact that we have the ability to form memories, that we have the ability to remember things, that when there's a good memory, we can look back and appreciate it and think, oh man, those were good times. And remember how excited we were. Remember the times when we were playing with each other in person, when we were able to touch and, hug each other and not worry about, stuff. We can remember the good times. And by remembering those times, it's almost like we get a little glimpse, like it's a little bit closer to us. Do you know what I mean? Um, the other thing that I'd like to give a shout out to is bad memories, because even though bad memories might seem like, why would you want a bad memory? You want to forget everything. Like there's that film about it, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. But the point is that with bad memories, you learn things. It's like by looking at history, you avoid making the same mistakes. And so, yeah, memories, just the ability to form memories, brilliant thing. And I would like to talk about recent highlights, listening to music and seeing the sights, recent highlights. Now, this is where I fall slightly short. So I would like to ask everyone in the audience, what were your recent highlights? What are games that you've been playing? My personal recent highlights, I mean, I really enjoyed the live stream yesterday. I enjoyed having Leo and just, being able to have Leo chatting and listening. Like for Leo was meant to come at like 4:30 and stick around for half an hour or so. And then instead, Leo came in on 4:15 and then we finished up at 8:30 and we could have carried on talking much longer. I mean, oh my gosh, that was a long live stream, like 7.5 hours, something like that, not to mention the hour and a half in earlier on. So anyway, so yeah, just talking to everyone, it was good fun. But my personal highlight, and let me know your personal highlights, of the live stream was definitely the game that I got to play, which was In a Bond. And please, again, if you can think of the best we could come up with was Yobi, like Yo, then Buy. So Yobi, and maybe it could follow a similar kind of. If I asked Simon Caruso, I guess this is, I don't know whether this is property of Simon Caruso or Gigamic. I assume it's property of Gigamic. But, if they ever were happy for me to make a kind of cheeky wee expansion, I feel like that's In a Bond, call it You'll Buy. Or maybe just buy, and then maybe the Y ends up like that. I don't know. Anyway, so currently called In a Bond. Yesterday we had 5 companies, and it was fun kind of betting on someone, pulling out, betting on Rose. I bet on Rose. I was sure that Rose would be able to do stuff, and then Rose collapsed. And because it's like every company, if people are investing you have your own personal squad of cheerleaders, and I think there's something lovely about that. And I just learnt today Ogive, and other. Anyway, so I had a lot of fun with In a Bond, and we were playing that again at 2 p.m. Alan Oughton celebrated her eldest son's birthday yesterday. Congratulations. And oh wow, Gigamic could be the start of Yogi. Yep, I like that. Ogive. Okay. Elaine says, I've been so busy recently, but I did manage to find time to clean the kitchen. Congratulations. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it makes the space more peaceful, which is much better for the brain. I totally, and yeah, happy birthday again to our son. And I totally resonate with that because I took little bits of time after my stream. I didn't, I'm going to admit, I didn't have my cycle ride. I did have a wee bit of a wander. I kind of thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to make some food. I did make some food. And what I made, okay, I had some discount meat that I'd bought the other day from Lidl. And you know, it's a bit old, so maybe my stomach might be unsettled, but let's not talk about that. So I've got this discount stuff, plus some spinach that I kind of let it stew inside, plus some mushrooms that were also pretty much going off, let's be honest. But then a tin of chopped tomatoes and a bunch of spices. And then I enjoyed that. I did also while that was cooking, while it was stewing, I was listening to a couple of podcasts. If you are interested, I'm still finishing off the last 3 months of On Board Games, which I continue to enjoy. And bonjour Alex, j'espère que tu es formidable aujourd'hui. Anyway, so yeah, so I just we're just talking about our recent highlights and games that we've been playing, and please feel free to share. And so my recent highlights, similar to Elaine, I did get little bits of tidying done in the kitchen, and some of it's a bit of resentment, think like I didn't make all this mess. Why am I doing it? But then, you know, just having it cleared up, it's just like, okay, sometimes I clear up other people's things, occasionally like other people clear up my stuff, but just getting it out there and okay, it's now not too bad and it's not perfect, but it's just, you know, I go in and I'm not instantly repulsed, which is at least a good improvement. So yeah, pay for recent highlights and feel free to share, and let's get back to the unboxing. So, 5 ou 4 cartes en français, 2 portes cartes, règles de jeu. You know, I really appreciate games that just show you what's going on, although I kind of feel like règles de jeu, it should say set règles de jeu, because I prefer it when it says like something like this set of instructions that you're reading right now, or yeah, just to say, wait, I mean, presumably most people are going to understand that, but it's like, okay, that's that picture, that's that picture. Even if it's a simple game, I appreciate the pictures. Principe but de jeu. Alors tous les joueurs piochent une carte et réalisons le défi qui y est indiqué. L'instruction doit alors, so I think it means something about drawing cards and doing what is indicated. L'instruction doit alors être suivie pour toute la durée de la partie. You need to keep doing it for the entire game. Les cartes s'accumulent et un joueur qui n'arrive plus à respecter l'une de ses contraintes est éliminé. So you need to do all of them together. If you can't do any of them, then you're eliminated. À la fin, il n'en restera qu'un. At the end, there can only be one. Mirroring the language of here. Mise en place, which means kind of set up. Les cartes sont mélangées, puis divisées en 2 piles qui sont insérées face cachée dans les portes 4. So you've got to shuffle the cards. You know, here we are learning the key vocabulary that you don't learn. You don't learn mélange les cartes, s'il vous plaît. You don't learn pioche de cartes. You don't, you know, I've basically got, I do not believe that at any point Duolingo is going to tell me how to say shuffle the cards together, or let alone something like put your marker 2 spaces further around a rondelle. You know, you don't get these kinds. This is the key information that we need. So yeah, les cartes sont mélangées, plus divisées en 2 piles qui sont insérées face cachée dans les portes cartes. You shuffle them and then put them into the 2 card holders. Ces portes cartes doivent, by doing my, just to say, I might not be the best, pronunciation, and my words are failing me. After 2 days of streams, apparently I should not do it quite so long. Ces porte-cartes doivent être placés sur la table de façon à ce que tous les joueurs puissent en attendre facilement. So you need to easily be able to reach all the cards. Les joueurs les plus zen commencent, puis les parties se déroulent en son horaire. So it's been it's the most zen player who starts. It's like, yeah, who is the most zen? Déroulement de la partie. À son tour, le joueur 1 pioche la première carte du porte-carte de son choix. Draw the top card of the from the card holder of your choice. 2. Lis son instruction à haute voix. And this is a really important rule. À haute voix. Out loud. So that means that you read the instruction, but you don't just read it. You read it out loud. Because I can't remember if I actually put that in the rules of In a Bind. Let me see. Yeah, I did. Read it aloud so everyone can hear. Yeah, that's okay. Thank goodness I said that. Because the thing about reading it aloud is that if you just read it, other people don't know what's going on. And there's something lovely about, vocalization rules where you've got uno, where you've got to say uno when you're getting to the end of when you've only got one card left. It's kind of a bit of a ritual. It injects a little fun into the game. Here, by saying it out loud, what you're doing is you're letting everyone know what's going on. You're keeping everyone informed. If I just went, and then held a card between my two hands, that's not interesting. If I pick it up and say, I've got to keep this card touching two hands, then it's other people are like, oh, so that's what Bez has got to do. And really, have you not played In a Bind or Yogi? I was sure that, okay. And merci beaucoup. C'est bien utile pour améliorer les vocab. And Andrew January says, I wonder what language learning resources there are for board games. I assume there's a bunch for German. And the way that I learned is by, basically translating some of these rules. And I think the one that says Bloch de niet for Knotzen, and it's very easy for me to get, whereas the ones that are further away, because not all of I don't know how interesting this is for anyone else, but these do all get produced in China. I could ask for French ones or English ones, and Gigamic would be happy to send them to me. If I asked for, hey, I would like 200 French ones, and then, but the issue is that with something like the Japanese version, that's really hard for me to get. And the only way that I eventually got it was because someone was coming from Japan and I paid them to buy me 2 copies and bring it in their luggage. And same with Thai, although I should say that at Nuremberg, they did finally get a couple of copies that I took off them at Nuremberg Toy Fair, because they had, hey, we've got a stand of all our things. And it's like, hey, do you really need this? Could I take these? Because I don't have, this is, where's my Hungarian version? Yeah, I've only got one Hungarian version. I was like a second. That's ideally like 2 versions of all my games, at least 2. One to keep nice and one to play. Let me turn off my noise. Sorry about that. If you've not ever played Yogi or In a Bind before, definitely check out In a Bond at 2 p.m. And you can even be a trader. It is kind of this crazy economic subversion. But anyway, back to the rule. Oh yeah, I was talking about doing things out loud. I mean, let me know, what other games have vocalization rules? I'm trying to think. Obviously, there's games where speech is the entire focus of the game, like Taboo, where it's like, okay, you can't say particular words, but I think there should be, especially with party games, Why not kind of make sure that you're keeping people informed of the game state? Why not kind of... And the other thing is that with the vocalization rules, if I had to keep my bottom lip covered and then my top teeth visible, at a certain point, that adds a little bit of amusement. Anyway, toi, se mettre en position pour respecter l'instruction sans arrêter de suivre les précédents, s'ils en a déjà. If you've got any previous rules you need to keep doing them, you need to do the new rule as well. Puis, c'est au tour du joueur suivant, une carte verte doit être placée face visible devant le joueur qui l'a pioché afin que chacun puisse connaître le défi le haut. I don't know how to say figure in French, but So this is a change that they made between In a Bind and Yogi. So if I get some cards, so you see in a bind, they are obviously all in black and white. And this card on... Let me show a card that's actually is not the worst card in the entire deck. This card on left forearm and one finger touching armpits. I like that card. So the point is that in Yogi, this card would have a green background and this card would have an orange background. And indeed, in a little bit of time, you will see that this is the case. And these green and orange backgrounds, it says with the green backgrounds, you put it in front of yourself and it just reminds you and others what you will play. And tandis qu'un carte orange va être utilisé pour respecter son instruction, exemple, fig 2, mettre la carte sur la tête. So the orange cards have to be placed around your body. Il est possible d'utiliser des éléments pour s'aider, comme glisser la carte dans un vêtement, par exemple, mais il faut obligatoirement qu'une partie de la carte reste visible. So you can use clothes to help you. This is very important. So you could use, if you've got lots of headbands and, genuinely, if someone... And yeah, I would love to see someone coming on and playing in a bond just covered in headbands and stuff. You are allowed to use clothes. You're allowed to use whatever you want. It says, but part of the cards has to be visible. So you can't just go, okay, there, it's on my shoulder, because you need to be at least able to see it, just to check that you're actually doing it. Note, les illustrations sur les cartes ne sont qu'indicatives. Les joueurs peuvent trouver d'autres manières de répondre aux instructions. You can do it however you want. That's just an example of how you might be able to do it. Si un joueur ne parvient pas à suivre l'instruction d'une de ces cartes, même momentanément, il est immédiatement éliminé. If you can't do something, even for a short moment, you are eliminated straight away. There's no second chances. You're eliminated straight away. Il est néanmoins possible de changer de position si l'instruction reste respectée. You can change stuff as long as you're always following the instructions. Chacun doit être honnête et reconnaître s'il élimine. You should be honest and recognize if you're eliminated. Mais il ne faut pas hésiter à dénoncer un petit camarade qui aurait failli à l'un de ses missions. Don't hesitate to mention if someone else is making a mistake. Si un joueur ne parvient pas à piocher des cartes à son tour, il est éliminé. If you can't draw a card on your turn, you are eliminated. Fin de partie, and I get into the thing that technically that does mean that if you get to the end of the deck and you run out of cards, well, that would basically mean that it's random who wins between the remaining people, which is not my intention. Hopefully people don't interpret the rules that way. Hopefully people understand that it means if you can't draw a card due to your physical limitations. Anyway, fin de partie, le dernier joueur en jeu gagne la partie. The last player in the game wins. And that is all the instructions, and it's about 20 minutes, and I'll get into the variant Sadiq and en équipe in a wee bit. Let me look at all these cards, and I wish Simon Caruso were here. So Simon Caruso is the artist of Yogi. True story, I invited Simon Caruso to be part of this weekend, but it was not possible because in some parts of France, for example, up in the mountains, the Wi-Fi or internet connection is not particularly good. So I need to be more mindful of where my little phone is. Ooh, it says it's in low power mode. Let me quickly plug in my phone. Just a sec. Can I pop this in? This is a dexterity challenge. Sorry about making. I hope people aren't feeling too sick whilst I'm. Boom. Yes, lots of it's in. Yeah, technically, that's a literal reading of the instructions is exactly as you say, Alex, and that was never my intention. And I really hope that people don't understand it that way. I mean, I don't think people would. I mean, it might be worth me flagging it up with Zhigamic. Anyway, let's go through the cards. And I'm not going to translate these all because I think it's fairly obvious. For example, just by the card, hopefully that this means you've got to touch the card with two hands. Cette carte touche les deux mains. And this is actually really good for learning body parts. Cette carte sous le menton, under chin. This was a change that I didn't realize was going to happen. Under the chin versus between chin and chest. I mean, technically, this is where French are a bit more laissez-faire. Because, I mean, if I was going to be really literal, I would say, well, okay, it's under my chin. Because, look, my chin's here. The card is here. So it's, yeah, you know what? It's underneath it. But that's clearly not what the card is intending. And I think this speaks to the French versus the German sensibility, where the French are like, yeah, we understand that there are some assumptions that we've got to make. Cette carte sur la tête. I really like this drawing that Simon Caruso did with like weird alien creatures. Le pouce droit pointe vers le bas. So this was one of the earliest drawings that I saw. I asked them to kind of make it so that the starburst kind of focuses around the relevant part of the picture. It does give it a little bit of help. Oh, here's a familiar face. Le pouce gauche pointe vers le haut. I didn't ask Simon Caruso to draw me in Yogi, but they just did, and it was lovely. Les dents du dessous sont cachés. L'auriculaire droit pointe vers le bas. Vers le bas, is that up or down? Vers le bas. Well, looking at the picture, it's pointing up, so clearly it's up. But why is that around the elbow? Because it's about the auriculaire. L'auriculaire. Wait. I'm confused by this. Oh, look. Oh, that is a giant pinky. Okay. Yeah, I didn't read that picture properly. L'auriculaire doit pointe vers le bas. Vers le bas means down. So with the thumb ones, where do you put the cards? With the green ones just stay in front of you. So I draw this card, le pouce gauche pointe vers le haut, and the green ones just stay in front of me on the table. So green ones stay in front of me on the table, and orange ones go on my body. L'auriculaire gauche pointe vers le bas. Un oreille touche une épaule. And by the way, pro tip, if you're ever doing this, it's tempting to just lean your head, but if you want to remove the crick in your neck, lift your arm as well, because that makes it so much easier. Hard, easy. I'm not exaggerating. Oh my gosh. This game taught me so much about my body. Le poignet gauche est plié. The left wrist is bent. Le poignet droit est plié. Les deux mains se touchent. Cette carte touche l'oreille droite. So, for example, like there. Cette carte, and this kind of reminds me of that game by Bevan Klatsworthy, Go Still. I don't know if it, oops, that fell. And I do want to say that I like how Simon Caruso is actually, there's a lot of diversity of the people that Simon drew as well. I did ask them, but they told me that this was based on someone they saw, just being somewhere where there was someone born as male with pigtails and wearing a dress. And I think that getting out in the world, going to places, it gives, especially as an artist, it's important that you represent a wide variety of people. Cette carte touche l'oreille gauche. L'oreille gauche. Okay, so this is where if you've got a headband or indeed glasses, it makes it a lot easier. Cette carte cache un œil. This is probably my favorite card in terms of the art. Yeah, I love this little cheerful pirate. Un doigt touche le nez. Cette carte touche le sourcil droit. Touching right eyebrow. Cette carte touche le sourcil gauche. Yep, go on. Un œil est fermé, so closing one eye. Un doigt touche le menton. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people without glasses have enough disadvantages in real life. We should have advantages somewhere. Paume de la main droite vers le sol. Oh, I can feel that slipping. Paume de la main gauche vers le sol. Cette carte entre deux doigts. Cette carte sur l'épaule droite. Cette carte sur l'épaule gauche. So this is where, if I want to slip it under my shirt, I would have to have at least a sliver of it be visible, which it says there. Un majeur touche les paumes de sa main, which I could do just on my fingers to make it easier. Un majeur is the middle finger. Cette carte touche le dos de la main gauche. Cette carte touche le dos de la main droite. Oh, un doigt touche l'oreille. Oh, balancing. Yes, I'm good at balancing. Main gauche est au-dessous des coudes. Left hand above elbow. Main droite au-dessous des coudes. L'index droite ne doit touche rien. Ne doit rien toucher. So this is where I can move this card just so I can, but I need to always have it. Okay. So if I had been playing, spilling a card, let you put it back just for cette carte sur l'avant-bras gauche. So I'm going to get them off for the moment. Cette carte sur l'avant-bras gauche, that means the forearm, which I like because l'avant means front and bras means arm. So it's cette carte sur l'avant-bras droite. And you can slip it in your sleeve. So it's cette carte sur un majeur. This is a cheeky little punk rocker. Can do that. L'Auricle droit ne touche rien. Right pinky doesn't touch anything. Coude gauche. Oh, this is one of the hardest ones. Coude gauche au-dessous de l'épaule. So that means left elbow above shoulder. Now, this just can get very tiring. And just because it's a big body motion, whoops, almost dropped them. And what? Dans les bouche. Okay, so I'd like to talk about, yeah, I really need, I don't know why this one got mistranslated. And part of me wants to just let them have it, but I probably should point out that originally, and what dans la bouche is not what the original card said. It was one finger touching mouth. Where's my fish? Where's my fish person? Fishy, 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 fishy. Here. One finger touching mouth. And what? Touche la bouche, I think, is what it should have been. But yeah, I don't quite know how that's happened. Yeah, exactly. It means a finger in your mouth, but my original card was one finger touching mouth. And so there were this one and the one that's under chin was originally between chin and chest. But anyway, I mean, I like to play it with one finger touching mouth. It feels a bit less gross. I mean, I guess that's one finger touching mouth, but yeah, especially with modern day, with everything that's going on, I probably should tell Jigamick, hey, maybe you should change that. I mean, they are open to small changes. I should say that they were proposing a couple of changes themselves, even after they'd sold, more than 10,000 copies. They said, hey, we're thinking of a change. We're going to change right hand above elbow to be right hand above right elbow, which is obviously what I intended, but they just felt like maybe people were getting confused for whatever reason, and it clarified it a little bit. Anyway, moving on. L'index gauche pointe vers le ciel. And what? Touche un assez. And what? Touche le queue. Oh no, le cou. Cette carte touche le nez. Which again, if you've got glasses, cette carte touche le coude droit. And it's important to note that you can put it on the inside as shown by this card, which is, in the art, clearly it's on the inside. Cette carte touche le coude gauche. And I can squeeze it in there. Boom. L'annulaire droit touche la paume. L'annulaire, l'auriculaire. So l'auriculaire is this one, l'annulaire is this one. Les deux bras se touchant. Oh, damn. Two arms touching. Where did that one go? Un man sur un genou. Okay, so hindsight being 2020, this is the one card that I would not have in this game. Now that Yogi Guru has come out, I would prefer that this card were only in Yogi Guru, and one of the Yogi Guru cards that are above the thing, like this card on its forehead, would have been in this one. Because a hand on a knee, whilst it's not the hardest thing, yeah, I feel like I like the fact it's just interesting to note literally everything else is above the waist. And if you want to play, I have played this game with a wheelchair user, and I took out this card. This was back when it was in a bind, and they actually managed to win the game. But if I had a hand on a knee, with someone who can use their legs and move that, that's not so bad because at least you can do that. But if your knee is always down there, oh my God, I can't get Wait. Yeah, I can do that. But now I can't read the cards or anything. That's a lot more debilitating. So I would say that's actually if this one card were not in the game, then we could have even brought it out. Then we could have said, it's possible to play for wheelchair users. Elaine going back says, for most people, I'm not sure the mouthing matters. In for a penny, in for a pound. You're already putting cards and body parts in weird places. Yeah, I mean, for me, something about that just feels over the line for me personally. I mean, for me, that's okay. And I guess that starts to feel, just especially in this day and age of everything going on. Coup de gauche sur le torse. Is that what I originally had? I mean, I feel like I do quite like how so Simon Caruso for some of the cards it feels like some of them were quite similar to some of the cards that I drew, but like maybe like the Frankenstein was inspired by my Frankenstein. I don't know, but sometimes it's just this is clearly the easiest way to represent it. That's the way that makes the most sense. And sometimes it's completely different. Where I'm trying to compare. I'm trying to double check if this was changed slightly, because this is actually the most. I feel like I might have done this when it first came out, but right elbow touching torso. Oh yes, I remember this. I do remember realizing at a certain point that they changed this. Coup de gauche versus right elbow. I mean, how does that happen? But sometimes it has happened, and I am proud to say that still Yogi and Yogi Guru, it is still technically possible simultaneously. But with the left elbow above torso, and if you remember, we had left elbow above shoulder, coup de gauche sur l'épaule somewhere. Coup de gauche au-dessous de l'épaule and coup de gauche sur le torse. So basically, the only way to actually do both of them together are that. And might actually send them an email. Les dents du dessous sont visibles. Cette carte touche un pouce. Main droite au-dessous de la main gauche. Now, this is the one complete. So, as long as you don't have to put your fingers in other people's mouths, Elaine says. And Elaine says, no, I've not had to answer this. I think this might be the first time I've ever. Just for the record, this is vitamin C effervescent pill, mixed vitamin effervescent pill, both dissolved in a tall glass of water. Oh my gosh. That may have been the first thing that I consumed today. Anyway. Okay, so I'll put a pin in that and get to Elaine's thing. I'm glad that you like my art. And some of the cards for Innerbind Junior represent more. This is what I'd like to do. But having said that, my art, it's not quite. it's not quite. This art is a lot cleaner. It's a lot more kind of mass market. And when a company signs up a game, it's going to be very incredibly rare that a company wants to keep the art from the original version. So in signing with Gigamic or any other company, it is a decision that I had to be okay with them basically completely changing everything, changing the name, changing the art. And the first when I got to Essen 2016, I want to say, yeah, I'm fairly Essen 2016. They were hoping to have it out at that point, and instead they were still looking for artists. They showed me one of the artists that they said to me, "Look, this is not the final art," and I was like, "Okay, that's all good." And yeah, basically, any game that I make, Kitty Cataclysm, if a company at any point in the future says to me, okay, we are going to publish at least, I don't know what level of minimum copies, I'd probably be okay with a minimum of 10,000. Yeah, somewhere around that. If they guaranteed 10,000 copies every year and the royalties were a reasonable level, basically, as a rule of thumb, as a self-publisher, I need to sell about 1/10 of the copies in order to make the same amount of money. So let's say Gigamic is able to sell 100,000, has been able to sell 100,000 copies of Yogi. I'm just going to say it's more than that, but for me to make the same amount of money, approximately, I would need to sell about 10,000 copies myself. So basically, what that means is that if I am able to sell, if I am personally able to sell 2,000 or 3,000 copies of In a Bind, then there's not much point in me selling it to a publisher unless that publisher can sell more than 20 or 30,000 copies of their version of In a Bind. And similarly, if I'm able to sell 1,000 copies of Kitty Cataclysm per year, which I have been able to do, I've sold out, and then I would need someone to sell 10 times that number. Of course, there is the benefit that I then don't need to do the work. And whilst I love going to conventions, and there's one thing in my contracts for this game that I would change. The only thing that I'm not happy about is in my contracts, and this is nothing to do with money. This is entirely to do with emotional value. I would want 6 copies of every single edition that is sold. So I would want 6 copies of every language. If they do a reprint in French, I would want 6 copies of that reprint. If they do a reprint in any language, I would want 6 copies. For emotional purposes, that is something I would definitely want in every contract. It doesn't need to be 6. Frankly, 2 is the bare minimum. But I would want some number because I want some number to keep. I want to have one to give to my mum, maybe. If it's in French, then, well, I have some French friends who would probably like it. If it's in Japanese, I know lots of people in Japanese who speak Japanese who would love a Japanese copy, but I would probably give one to the library pots if I were able to get it, just because the library pots, they were so nice when In a Bind. But at this point, because I basically have to get it flown over by someone else who's meeting me at UK Games Expo, it's a very complicated situation. Anyway, so Gigamic is a great company to work for. I would absolutely work with them again. I have pitched them a couple of games that one of them they did not like because apparently they don't want any speed games at all right now because they feel the market's overloaded with that. And a couple of the games that I showed them, I think I showed him like 3 different games. All of them were speed games. Then I also showed him another game, which was actually a collaboration between myself, um, Konrad Borowiecki, and Marta Borowiecka. Borowiecki and Borowiecka, in case you don't know Polish, those are the same surname, but Polish is so gendered that Polish, if you are male or female, your surname actually changes. Anyway, so that's something that I need to get back to them with, but then yeah, COVID and lack of energy and everything, and yeah. Anyway, but yeah, when you can set up certain contracts. For example, Gavin Birnbaum has publicly said that, you know, QE. I hope that some people know QE. So QE by Gavin Birnbaum. Gavin is allowed to make something like 50 copies every year, and 50 copies, because they're handmade, that's not something that's ever going to bother the the big publisher. Yeah, I agree. It is really good, and I love this version. Yeah, this is English. I could unbox this if I wanted, but there's actually no time because we're already at 11. But Yogi Guru is actually, I feel like Simon Caruso upped the level of the art because, yeah, you know, check this out. It's like the it's the same character, but they've grown a beard and they've become a bit more, I don't know, sort of. Yeah, this just made me laugh so many times when I first saw it. Check that out. Don't know, can you see that properly? Maybe I should just show it to this camera. There we go. Check that out. And yeah, there's just a lot more going on in this thing. And also, I love the front of that box where it's actual cards, where at the back you can actually see Yogi, and yeah, exactly, super laid back. Whereas over here, the cards are just kind of orange. And anyway, other question. Alan Outson, how long did it take from first contact with Gigamic to the first box to go on sale? First contact with Gigamic. This shouts out, massive, massive, massive shout out. Thank you for reminding me. To Dave, you know, North South Games. Dave, what North South Games? By the way, love for QE. Yep, great game. Who's North South Games? Dave Cousins. I can't believe that I'm forgetting. Yeah, my memory is, yeah, just the past few months, it's not been great. And so Dave Cousins, I was meant to be in Essen with Dave Cousins. I had issues. I could not go to Essen in 2015. I did manage to go to Essen in 2016 with Dave Cousins. So, I got, and then I've been to Essen every year, 2016, 17, 18, 19. Obviously not going to go this year because it's not happening. I mean, Essen live. But, so, whilst Dave Cousins was there, Dave Cousins asked me, am I happy for Dave to give away copies of In a Bind to publishers or to reviewers? And I said, sure, I will trust your judgment. Don't do more than 20. I think I sent Dave off. Dave had something like 168, one or two boxes. A box was something like 168. So it would have been either 168 or 336. Anyway, so Dave had a large number of In a Bind. Dave sold, I think it must have been 2 boxes, because Dave sold basically 200 copies of my game, and I wasn't even there. Dave did do it on commission. I'm not going to say that Dave didn't get anything for it. Of course, Dave Cousins, Dave Cousins, wonderful person, used to be all about going to the conventions. Dave, very much a family person, and yeah, then they stopped going to conventions after Essen 2016. Yeah, just jumping ahead into the future, because they felt like, yeah, it's no longer fun. They're not making a lot of money. They're not having fun. Why carry on doing it? They want to spend more time with their family. they want to maybe make games, maybe pitch them, but they don't want to do the whole making a stand. For them, that wasn't the fun, which is a shame. And I think that, yeah, that is key. What we said the other day, are you having fun? Are you really obligated to do it? Or is it going to turn into something, you know, worthwhile? And I guess, are you obligated to do it? Kind of the payments kind of comes into that. But no, so Dave Cousins met up with a bunch of publishers, and Dave Cousins gave In a Bind to 3 different publishers, one of which included Gigamic. That was at Essen. Gigamic gave me a contract, offered me a contract shortly after. I believe it was that same year. So end of October is Essen, November, December, Gigamic gave me a contract. I said, hey, I have one other company who is also interested. The other company has promised me to get back to me by February. Can you wait? And so we both waited until February. The other company, who is a better known company, and I never imagined myself in a position to say no to such a massive company, but I said no because the contract that they offered was almost ludicrous compared to the fact that the guaranteed number of sales that they were offering was what I was selling myself. And as someone who enjoys that process of going to conventions and selling it, why would I do that? As someone who wants to build more stuff and self-publish stuff, because I do like having the control. I like being able to say, this is my typography. I like being able to say, hey, I'm going to, draw cats or draw people. And anyway, I've realized basically in 2019, 2020, moving ahead, that realistically my self-publishing, it's got to be more of a hobby because I'm not selling enough copies. But if some other company, even like the biggest company, if they'd only been selling 2,000 copies per year, that would not be enough to actually put me in the position where I am now, which is this immensely privileged position. And I say this, and I'm aware that I don't want to flaunt my privilege in people's faces. I just want to acknowledge that. And hopefully, I want to show gratitude for Dave Cousins and everyone who's gotten me to this situation where, I am in a position where for the past couple of years, basically, this has been paying my rent, which is an incredible position to be in, where, and so thank you to everyone involved. Anyway, getting back to this one, Manduat au-dessous de la main gauche. Where's Jess's card? Okay, so originally, there was a card in a bind, right hand, right of elbow, and this is the worst card in the deck. This is the worst card because, thank you very much, Elaine, that's lovely for you to say. Right hand, right of elbow, I liked the thing because it does force you to do interesting things, but people don't instantly understand what right hand, right of elbow means. Now, it worked okay with designers, people who know their left from the right, but playing it in bars when I was demoing it, because after publication, a lot of me selling the game was not just at conventions. I would go to pubs, literally, with this game. I didn't want to do a bad thing of it, but basically, I would go to pubs and I would go up to absolute strangers and say, hey, can I show you a funny game? And then we'd play this game and, whoops, screen went black. Oh, why is someone... Is my screen... Sorry, that's the problem. Is there a way that I could stop? Oh, wait. No, I can't really stop. I can't really stop the ability for someone to ring me whilst, for goodness sake, someone's asking me to meet them. Someone off a dating website wanting to meet in this day and age. For goodness sake. So, yeah, back to the show. Sorry for that brief interruption. So, right hand, right of elbow. So, I used to go literally into pubs and say, hey, are you up for trying a wee game? Are you up for trying something? And hi, CD. Lovely to see you. No, it wasn't out of battery. The problem with airplane mode is that I need the internet because this is technically connected to the internet and this is technically connected to the internet. So they're both kind of streaming separately and then they're assembled. So I don't quite know how that could be improved. Anyway, back to the point. A lot of drunk people, especially people who some people don't know their left and right so easily. If it's okay, right hand above elbow, okay, right hand, okay, that's this one, above elbow. If it's right hand right of elbow, it's like right hand, which way, right? Okay, so that means, okay, I've got to keep, and that's just that little bit harder to think about. It's too difficult. For the, I want this, for the level of accessibility that this game should be, this was a terrible card. And I'm so glad that I published this first, because I would be so embarrassed if this card were in Yogi, now that it's actually become an international hit. And I would have to beg Gigamic to take it out, and then they might be concerned that we're changing the game too much and we're upsetting people who've bought it earlier. But it was just a terrible card. I promise you, this card's just for intelligibility. Anyway, so what happened is they had already commissioned the artwork. This one is meant to be right hand, right of elbow, and it doesn't even clearly show that. I mean, to be fair, this doesn't really clearly show that either. And so they asked me, could I invent another instruction to fill up the sheet? And so I saw this, and this art inspired me. The art inspired me to have right hand, main droite, au-dessous de la main gauche. And it's such a simple card. This makes Yogi so much better than In a Bind, in my opinion. This one changes the biggest improvement. Cette carte touche un auriculaire. Cette carte touche le cou. And cette carte sous un essai. And those are all the cards for Yogi. And yeah, that is a little bit of what that's all about. I'm now going to read the final bits of the instructions and answer any questions that you have, and then I'll wrap up. Variante sadique. Mélanger les cartes et en distribuer deux à chaque joueur. So every person gets two. This is completely different from the previous version. It's not just draw, read, do it. It's you actually start off shuffling and give two to everyone else. Place les porte-cartes de façon à ce que chacun puisse en attendre facilement. Everyone needs to be able to draw cards easily. À son tour, le joueur 1 joue une carte de sa main en la plaçant devant un autre joueur qui doit alors commencer à respecter l'instruction indiquée. So first, you play one of the cards, two cards from your hand, you give it to someone else who has to do what it says. Deux pioches une carte, draw a card. Puis, c'est au tour des joueurs qui viennent de recevoir une carte, etc. So basically, it doesn't go round. It's the turn of the person who was the victim. Exactly the same as what I read out on Friday. Le dernier joueur en jeu gagne la partie. Now we've got variants on équipe, team variant. Si les joueurs sont nombreux, il est recommandé de jouer par équipe de 2 ou 3. Chaque équipe est alors considérée comme un seul et même joueur. You have teams of 2 or 3 and consider each team of 2 or 3 like one person. Il est possible de jouer par équipe en respectant le mode de jeu normal ou la version sadique. You can play as teams in normal play or sadistic play. N'importe. I love this phrase, n'importe. It doesn't matter. And it's used so much in French. N'importe quel joueur de l'équipe peut piocher quand c'est le tour de cette équipe. It doesn't matter who's going to draw. Au moins un joueur de l'équipe doit respecter chacun des respecter de ses instructions. At least one person from each team has to respect each of the instructions. Il est possible que deux membres de la même équipe suivent. Do you pronounce the ENT? I don't remember if that's suivre or suivant. La même instruction pour mieux assurer les coups ou pour prendre le relais d'équipe. So you can have two people doing the same thing so that if one of them stops doing it, then you still win. And at the bottom, we've got images of some of the people from the team of Gigamic. I think that's the one of the presidents. That's Matilda, who... Can I bring this down a wee bit? Yeah, sorry about the shaky cam. You still don't see it super well, do you? Yes, people used to ask this all the time when I was making in a bind. Now, the advantage of the green cards is that you have them in front of you, that you can remember what it says. It is a game that is better as a card game. Lots of people, when I brought it out, said this could be an app. Yes, it could be an app, but it would also be worse. Not everything has to be an app. That's all. I'm not annoyed. I'm just kind of yeah. It's yeah, that's it. It kind of I guess I'm sad. Like, well, I'm noticing that this is now in the camera view. Need to put it up there maybe. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that everyone's like, oh, this should be an app. And certainly there are LDEC games that I would love to be an app. I would love to have someone with the coding skills. I mean, if someone is up for turning one of the LDEC games into a game on Board Game Arena, yeah, let's turn Muckle into a game on Board Game Arena, really, or on a mobile app. That is something that I would love to be an app. It's only one of the L games, and obviously the advantage of having the cards is that you can play loads of different games, but I am proud of Muckle. Muckle is a solid game, and I think that, you know, you're placing the cards. Yes, it loses something that you're not actually beside the people, but then suddenly you can play it remotely. That adds something. What does having the green cards be on a screen, what does that add? It doesn't feel like it adds anything to me. Like, being in a new situation, it should add something. If we played Muckle on a mobile app, what I would want is for there to be like a new puzzle every day, and like, okay, your scores are compared to everyone else's, and this is like the one setup. It's like random, but it's like a seed for that day, if you know what I mean. You know, there's a lot of things that you could do for that. And Dave is thinking about doing app-based versions of certain games I'm designing to help in publicizing them, but it's hard to do so in a way that doesn't detract from the physical game. I would say that not only should the app not be worse, but ideally it should be better in some ways, because it's automatically going to be worse in some ways. Because if I play Muckle on an app, well, that means that I don't get the joy of being with my friends. I don't get, like, myself and Layla and whoever else might be around the table. I don't get that same social connection. I mean, we've reached a point where I feel like it would be reasonable for us to, if we had a table, like if there was a picnic table, maybe at a park, you know, Dave, maybe it would be reasonable for us to kind of sit on opposite sides although maybe, Muckle might not work so well outside because the cards might blow the cards, the wind might blow the cards away. But anyway, my point remains that if we were under normal circumstances, or if we were living somewhere amazing, like, New Zealand, um, somewhere like New Zealand, where I would honestly love to be, because then I could be, seeing friends. But because well done on everything you've achieved. But anyway, so if we were living in New Zealand, having us all on the big table, and oh my gosh, I have so many wonderful memories of Michael May. I think it's Michael May from Two Can Play This Game. And what's Michael May's partner called? And it was myself, three of us playing Muckle, or when we were in the pub and there were like 10 of us playing Muckle. And for a special birthday thing, that was 2 years ago, I want to say. Like, yeah, that was good times. And there's something magical, even if you're not literally interacting, even if you're not literally touching each other, just even if you don't have, even if it's literally a zero interaction game, like Take It Easy or Muckle or Number 9. But yes, the obvious upside of an app is the accessibility, in that I could play an app right now with you, for example, and in a bond, in this digital manner, we can play in a bond, but we can't play, the normal game. We certainly can't play the sadistic version in person, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, and there have been upsides. Frankly, I never would have started live streaming or gotten this thing. And honestly, with this thing, maybe like I'll start doing better how to plays at some point, because I just started using it for the first time on Friday. It's gone reasonably well, except for when people phone me because I thought that they were a reasonable human and maybe I need to block someone's number. But I really hate blocking people. But anyway, so the point is that having an app version of this game, I would not like that. And there is technically, Gigamic made an app just to help promote it. There is a Gigamic app that's meant to add stuff, but it doesn't really do much. It's just there as an advertisement, it feels like. And there are, for Muckle, there's things that you could do, and absolutely, oh, thank you. Michael May's partner is Sarah. So yeah, myself, Michael, and Sarah, we were playing Muckle. I think Michael and Sarah were particularly good at Muckle. I didn't realize they were so good at word games. Anyway, I'm going to hold this up to this camera. So here you've got presidents of the company, Matilda, who is like the person I mainly deal with. You've got, this is Etienne, who used to be the person in charge of like taking on submissions. This person I don't know. This person I don't know. This person I don't know. And we've got David. David no longer works for the company. They left on good terms, but yeah, David was doing like all sorts of good promotion stuff. And it's a bit weird now because I go to their things and it's like, hey, these people know who I am and I have a very vague notion of who they are, but they know just the fact that I made this game anyway. Partagez vos meilleurs moments de Yogi avec nous sur notre page Facebook, Gigamic ou sur Twitter, #Yogi. Rendez-vous sur http://yogi/thegame.com. And I find this interesting that it's like Yogi the game as opposed to Yogi le jeu. It shows that English is still the international language. I think that #Yogi was a bad choice, if I'm going to be honest, because #Yogi, if you search that, there's a lot of other Yogi stuff going on. I don't know if you've heard, but yoga is fairly popular and lots of people like to know themselves as yogis. And That's lovely to hear. Thank you very much, Elaine. And finally, I'm not going to read all these advertisements unless at least one person asks me to, probably to. Vous aimez le yogi? Alors vous aimez aussi Mitzo or Wasabi, and some advertisements for other games. Also, me illustration Simon Caruso, and that is the end of that thing. And this is the end of. Wait, let me maybe turn that slightly. There we go. Okay. That is the end of my unboxing. I have successfully taken out all the cards. I do want to say that if I were to compare this game to this game, if I were to compare, oh, my camera seems to be slightly frozen, but if I were to compare these two games, I would say that I personally like the portability of this one, although as time has gone on, I've really appreciated these. Like, just it's so easy to draw a card. It keeps them together, because with these cards, when sometimes like they scatter all over the entire table, I didn't think that this was. I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it was completely superfluous. And then I played with it, and I was like, oh my god, it adds so much. It really does. I think that I really love the fact that these cards are waterproof, and they sound so nice to shuffle. I'm going to do a riffle shuffle, and I want you to. I don't know if you'll be able to listen to this. Maybe not on the table. I'll try here. I mean, to me, that sounds so good. It's like. Just feels like. And the cards, check them out. You can literally twist them like that. Like that. Or like that. And, it is a game where cards are going to get bent, and they are going to get sweaty. These cards are literally washable. Simon Caruso has shared the fact that they have played this game in a swimming pool recently, and they found that, with Yogi Guru, because there is a card on the back, which was not on this, but it's in Yogi Guru, because you've got a wet back, you can just stick it there. So as long as you stay out of the pool, as long as the game doesn't go on long enough that you completely dry up, that water can be really good adhesive to just putting these around your person. They just stick. It's amazing. I think that the durability does add a lot to the game. I think that the artwork is a matter of choice. I quite like Simon Caruso's art. This is one of my favorite cards, just like the it really brings attention to the elbow. Some of the art, I like the fact that there are different body shapes. There are different colors of people. When they showed it, I wasn't sure if we'd be able to get away with, some people who look quite similar to real people. They said, well, they're lawyers, apparently it's okay. I never noticed before that person has cool pink hair. It's lots of fun details. Like, I like this whole card. It's just so much joy. And yeah, I mean, all of these cards feel like there's a lot of fun to be had there. Hi, Xate. And this is another one of my favorites with the pirate. I do like the pirate. I will answer Alex's question in just a minute. Yeah, this is my favorite. Yeah, monkey person. Yeah. Someone did say afterwards that they felt like this was a bit offensive. And I passed on that feedback to Simon Caruso, who then said that, yeah, we'd have to be a bit more careful in the future, because they felt like it's kind of portrayed the stereotype, obviously, of an Indian, like that. The Native American, sorry. Native American. Sitkart, socially codes, gosh. I like how it's not all attractive people. Like, here's someone doing something really gross, just gets, it's slightly subversive, if you know what I mean. And yeah, there's a, like the ninja, it's someone with really beautiful eyes, and you know, I appreciate that Simon drew me. And yeah, having a bit of humor in there with Caesar, and I, looking at it, there's certainly a couple of things that I might have done differently. And yeah, phone home. All of that possibly isn't as obvious as it could have been. Yeah, I love that one. It's just like, oh. And I love that mischievous grin on this person, and how it makes sense of some of the poses. Yeah, Statue of Liberty, and oh, and the last two. I'm a big fan of that one. And so let me get rid of, hide this thing for a moment and bring this a wee bit closer. And if I can, I will say, what? Looking forward to hopes and ambitions. It's over to you for this final section. So yeah, please, everybody in the comments, let me know something that you're looking forward to doing today. Is it because you're having a friend over and maybe you're having a lovely meal together in a socially responsible way? Is it, whoa, just going to, is it a game that you're planning on playing? What are you up to? Let me know. I'm just going to type up Yogi in a bind. I've got a Facebook group that you can join if you want. You can go to facebook.com/group/8430. This is a terrible link. Here we go. So share my screen. Now, someone asked if anyone had managed to complete this pose. Yeah. And so, yeah, that is all I wanted to share. And if you wanted to join in the group to talk about this game, then I will put that in all the comments. And I absolutely agree. And yeah, Sates is having a friend over for games and a meal. We are a family for Corona. We're single and work from home and see just each other, basically. And yeah, there's like a little bit of bubbling. I think that as long as you're socially responsible, for example, I see Layla, and we do the whole boop, 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 left, right foot, jazz hands. And so yeah, with Layla, we see each other, we play games. Layla basically doesn't see other people. I basically see the people here and go to shopping, to be fair, which you need to go shopping. sometimes, but I see Layla, Chris, McCall, and Angie. And those are the people invited to my birthday party. But next year, literally all of you can all come to my birthday party. I realise now that that's a dangerous thing to say. But yeah, sure. I'm hoping that everyone watching this is a generally good person. And you're definitely invited. Anyone who is a VIP is definitely invited. Anyway, so what am I looking forward to? And Xate, someone's throwing Xate a birthday party. It'll be grilling in a park so we can keep distance, but it will be people. That sounds lovely. That's definitely a thing to look forward to. I'm looking forward to having a quick shower. I'm going to, I'm starting streaming again in an hour and 20 minutes. I really should get away so I actually have time to eat something today. I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to eat. I might do some quick hula hooping. Yeah, absolutely. If you wear gloves, that's totally fine, I think. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And my hope and ambition, I'm most looking forward to the 2 p.m. in a bond. And yeah, for those who don't know, it is technically Bez Day, and I'm going to delete the bits. I was meant to talk about the creation of the ultimate prize for Xate, because Xate won the prize with their in a bind picture, which I am going to show right now. So I asked people to submit pictures which I would be able to share, and I should probably post all of these on Twitter. But the pictures, if you want to see them, are this one from Andrew January, was deemed to be super cute. This one was nice, and I appreciated having it. Double glasses. Sets up for. I'm going to get rid of this. Sorry. I feel like the internet is. Whoops, it was actually not set up for that one, it was set up for this one. Then we had more from Xate. This was Xate's first entry. This was Alex's entry, which we enjoyed. And if we had done the video, then that would have won, but it's not a video contest, it is a photo contest. And that's why Xate won, not with this one, which is all about a tree playing in a bind, but with this one, which we decided just really epitomizes the atmosphere of In a Bind. And I'm sorry, Alan. This one basically won. And hello, Alan. Again. What are we looking forward to? If you want to find me, I am stuffbez.bigcartel.com, where you can buy my stuff. Twitter.com/stuffbez. You can see me writing about all sorts of stuff. Instagram.com/stuffbez. I post pictures every so often. Twitch.tv/stuffbez, where it's best to watch my live stuff. Facebook.com/thingsbybez. And I need to change that. Or you can email me on stuffbybez@gmail.com. To recap, we did an unboxing of this. I'm very proud of it. I'm very privileged of how it went. If you are enjoying this, then please share, spread the word, let people know, especially about the 2 p.m. event, which is going to be the highlight. My next streams, I'm just going to talk about, today, because there's so much. 1 p.m. Liz chat, 1:30 is Jess, 2 p.m. In a Bond, 3 p.m. competition, then chatting, sharing In a Bind stories, 3:30 Dave Weatherall, 4 p.m. Jenny Harmon, then we have more general chat, then 6 p.m. Kathleen Mercury, amazing person, some wonderful people, and come back if you want to join in on that. And yeah, if you can, I would. Yeah, in a bond, just so you know, in a bond is totally different to in a bind. In a bond, basically, some people are playing in a bond and some people are betting on how well those people will do. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Colleen's going to be on camera. We're already up to the maximum, but if I get rid of this, but Elaine, you would be very welcome to join in and be a trader off camera. Let me try and quickly find one message that I want to share, because there is, of course, only one thing left to do. And that one thing that is left to do, you might be familiar with, because once again, it is time to say whoops. Here we go. Wait, I think I need to refresh. Or because I tried to make it full screen, it messed up the thing. But you know what's coming.
Touching nothing. Right index, touching nothing. Right elbow, touching torso. Foot touching knee. Today, I will be attempting finger touching. Bye bye.
Okay.
This is the goodbye song. Bye bye, bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye, bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye, bye bye. Now it's time to go. Bye bye.
Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, Alex. I'm not going to let this replay. That is brilliant. I would love to see that on YouTube or something. I would just link to it all the time. Bye bye, everybody. Bye, Elaine. Bye, Xate. Bye, Aquasulus. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go.